All right, so the first version of Goldilocks and the Three Bears is retold and illustrated by James Marshall. And there is Goldilocks. And remember, I mentioned last week that fairy tales have some of the same similarities or elements in fairy tales. Like they start with once upon a time, usually. They may end with and they lived happily ever after, which is the best. And there's usually talking animals, which there are in this book for sure. Maybe there's some magic. There's sometimes good people and bad people. So keep an eye out for things like that. So this is Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Whoops. All right. Once there was a little girl called Goldilocks. What a sweet child, said someone new in town. That's what you think, said a neighbor. Doesn't sound like she's very sweet. One morning, Goldilocks' mother sent her to buy muffins in the next village. You must promise not to take the shortcut through the forest, she said. I've heard that bears live there. I promise, said Goldilocks. But to tell the truth, Goldilocks was one of those naughty little girls who did exactly as they please. This says shortcut. Danger, very risky, not a good idea. Turn back, go the other way. Meanwhile, in a clearing deeper inside the forest, in a charming house all their own, a family of brown bears was sitting down to breakfast. Patooey, cried big old Papa Bear. This porridge is scalding. I've burned my tongue. I'm dying, cried Baby Bear. Now really, said Mama Bear, who was of medium size. That's quite enough. I know, said Papa Bear. Why don't we go for a spin while the porridge is cooling? Excellent, said Mama Bear. So they got on their rusty old bicycle and off they went. Tra-la. A few minutes later, Goldilocks arrived at the bear's house. She walked right in without even bothering to knock. On the dining room table were 3 inviting bowls of porridge. Don't mind if I do, said Goldilocks, helping herself to the biggest bowl. But the porridge in the biggest bowl was much too hot. Patooey, cried Goldilocks, and she spat it out. Next, she tasted the porridge in the medium-sized bowl, but that porridge was much too cold. Then Goldilocks tasted the porridge in the little bowl, and it was just right, neither too hot nor too cold. In fact, she liked it so much that she gobbled it all up. Feeling full and satisfied, Goldilocks thought it would be great fun to have a look around. Right away, she noticed a lot of coarse brown fur everywhere. It must have kitties, she said. In the parlor, there were 3 chairs. I don't mind if I do, she said, climbing into the biggest one. But the biggest chair was much too hard, and she just couldn't get comfortable. Next, she sat in the medium-sized chair, but that chair was much too soft. Looks like it swallowed her right up. And she thought she might never get out of it. Then Goldilocks sat in the little chair. And that was just right, neither too hard nor too soft. In fact, she liked it so much that she rocked and rocked until the chair fell completely to pieces. Now all that rocking left Goldilocks quite tuckered out. I could take a little snooze, she said. So she went to look for a comfy place to nap. Upstairs were 3 beds. I don't mind if I do, said Goldilocks, and she got into the biggest one, but the head of the biggest bed was much too high. She looks like she's on a slide. Next, she tried the medium-sized bed, but the head of that bed was much too low. Then Goldilocks tried the little bed, which was just right. She was all nice and cozy and sound asleep. She did not hear the bears come home. The 3 bears were mighty hungry, but when they went in for breakfast, they could scarcely believe their eyes. Somebody's been in my porridge, said Papa Bear. Somebody's been in my porridge, said Mama Bear. Somebody's been in my porridge, said Baby Bear, and eaten it all up. In the parlor, the 3 bears were in for another little surprise. Somebody's been sitting in my chair, said Papa Bear. Somebody's been sitting in my chair, said Mama Bear. Somebody's been sitting in my chair, said Baby Bear, and broken it to smithereens. The 3 bears went upstairs on tiptoe, not knowing what they would discover. At first, everything seemed fine, but then Papa Bear lay down on his big brass bed. Somebody's been lying in my bed, he cried. He was not amused. That means he was not happy. Egads, cried Mama Bear. Somebody's been lying in my bed. Look, cried Baby Bear. Somebody's been lying in my bed, and she's still there. Now see here, roared Papa Bear. Goldilocks woke up with a start, and her eyes nearly popped out of her head. But before the bears could demand a proper explanation, Goldilocks was out of bed, out the window, and on her way home. Who was that little girl? Asked Baby Bear. I have no idea, said Mama Bear, but I hope we never see her again. And they never did. There she goes running away. The end. I hope you guys liked that story a lot. I will see you soon. Bye.